share your thoughts
Yes,
on what it does exactly. We learned, right? We learned about the BA role, BA's, overall working and the other things. So if you could, please throw some light. What do you think as an, individual BA does on a day-to-day job? Hello? Could you hear me?
BA is like a solution provider to the companies or the clients
Mm-hmm.
to collect the problems or the from the client stakeholders, and this he documents all those problems and he give it to the technical team.
Mm-hmm.
Technical team just make a solution on it according to the what the BA has documented everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they prepare the solution and that those they give it back to the stakeholders or companies, the
Mm-hmm.
business. So that is what the BA does. And
And what do you think? Whatever we learned, how does that help? Means, be it something like let's start from Excel. How does Excel add value to his BA role? What do you think?
it's like um, so,
We learn Excel, right? We will try to understand, how we can plot graph charts and how can we collect data and present it really beautifully. So,
he collects the
how do you
data.
think? How does that help in the overall BA scenario? Please go ahead.
That helps in like technically the plotting technically is the problem. So that is how to put it in technical words. So that
No,
is
you
what.
can put it in layman's terms. I can understand we are still learning, but whatever words you use, those are important because as a BA, we talk to very senior persons, right? So we need to learn these words somehow, or we need to basically start using those heavy English words, and it's a kind of need of the job as well. So I believe you can understand, but forget about that. Let's try to understand your thought as a layman. How does Excel help in to a BA? Hi Usha, good evening. We are trying to understand from everybody how BA, rules or how BA works on a day-to-day basis, and how we can utilize this tool. Santosh was sharing his thoughts on how Excel is important for a BA. Please go ahead, Santosh.
Successful
because through
initial.
Excel spreadsheet we can organize
Yeah.
we can organize the data into
Mhm.
proper format.
Perfect.
So so we can with the more complex data, Excel allows us to customize the functions and calculations and everything. So through these, we can present our present requirements of stakeholders to them. So
Perfect, perfect. This is what I want. Yeah. So basically, you can present the requirements with research and data effectively through Excel. That's the statement I was looking for. Very, very rightly said. Please go ahead.
so that's
Yeah. So that's it. And how does use case help?
Yes.
You've drawn a couple of use cases, right? We normally get requirements and we need to have a clarification on depth of requirement or clarification in terms of what we've understood and get it approved from the client in the crisp depth approvals. So for that we use case, right? So
Yeah,
how do you your words, please?
yeah, via use case diagram, we can provide our description, what our system should be able to do, what and how we can going to fulfill our stakeholders' requirement,
Perfect.
and
Wow, Revati, thanks.
and what will interact with the system and
Great. Perfect. I think, yeah, you summed it up really well, really well. Okay, now who else want to go ahead? Pavni, do you have, could you describe in your words, what do you think, how, BA does his job with all these tools and what you understood? Please share in your words.
Yeah, sure.
Please.
Should I have to say about the BA as a role, like how the inputs and outputs goes there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, actually, BA analysis, what you said that I note down the points, and yeah, it just please says that is it correct or not, and is a practice of enabling change in enterprise by defining needs and recommending solutions that delivers.
Wow. Okay, perfect. Uh-huh.
Yeah, like expectation from BA, like in task, like plan, business analysis approach, and
Uh-huh.
stakeholder engagement, and business analysis governance, and business analysis information management,
Wow.
and identify business analysis performance improvements. Yeah,
Wow.
those are the
If you,
inputs, and outputs is the same, like business analysis approach and stakeholder engagement approach, and who's that approaching things for inputs.
wow, madam, you're ready to work as a BA. Believe me, if you can
Oh.
explain thing in the interview, you got selected because you explain in the crisp possible terms, like how BA works, BA perform. Now we need to practice of the overall tools and basically try to execute the workshop. Thanks a lot. You explain it in the perfect word.
Oh,
This is what
thank
we need as an BA. Yeah. So you
you.
explain in the crisp those words. Thanks a lot for that. How
This
about
is
you?
more to me, really. Thank you for you. I have to say thank you for you, because of before I don't know anything about this, and you let me know that these words and these what
Then
was the
that's
main
why the
goals
training.
here.
That's
Thank you
why the
for that.
training.
I lift to you. Yeah.
Very nice. What do you think about use case diagrams? Why we use use case diagrams?
Use case diagrams, like it gives us problems to solution, and I can explain through that diagram and all. Uh, yeah.
No, what do you
Uh,
explain through use case diagram? That's what I'm trying to understand. From your terminology, you don't have to use your notes. Just whatever you thought, whatever you learned, because we are almost a month now, right? We were talking on almost alternative day, and we try to share our thoughts. So I want to understand from you, what do you think in terms of use case diagram, how they are useful to a BA?
yeah, actually, use case diagram for when you go, there is a primary and a secondary things for that, and when the customer is a primary for that, everything what going to order the things.
Primary users, right? Uh-huh.
Yeah, primary users that, and yeah, through that making yeah, I can use the diagram
Use
for
case is a
what I feel.
functionality. Yeah, use case is a functionality which normally try to make it to most allowed or most possible depth, so that we can depict all the functionalities in terms of scenarios and usage and so on and so forth. So
Yes, yes, yeah.
yeah, that's right. You're on the right track, and thanks to you. Thanks, for a really perfect explanation as far as the overall requirement gathering thing goes. Rupanjali, do you want to go ahead, please? Rudra, hi, good evening. What we are trying to do, we are trying to understand from everyone, how do you feel about BA, what he does day in day out, how he uses the tool, like Excel, use case diagram, how he uses in a daily job, right? So Rupanjali, could you please go ahead?
Yeah. So for BA, I believe he's a person who is like more responsible to understand the stakeholders or customers needs, what they want
Perfect.
from the business, from them. And he has to understand and then convert that needs into a logical the data, so that I mean in operational requirement, so that the developers can solve the problems.
Mm-hmm.
And he can help with the the cost of the company. And
Right. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and maybe how to work effectively, how to do the task with minimum effort and most productive way.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think? How use case helps in this scenario?
I think the use case is, it's a picture which can show the relation between, the customer and the system, how it works,
Great.
how the customer is using the system.
Mm-hmm. So the
Yeah, that
interaction between the user and the system. Wow.
and
It's
system.
really, sums up the whole scenario of use case diagram. Great, great.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Wow. No problem. Chalai. Sheetal, do you want to, go ahead next, please?
Yeah. BA is a crucial role where this the BA has to gets the data information about the particular project,
Mm-hmm.
particular product,
Mm-hmm.
about which from the stakeholders, which
Right.
he plays as a bridge between the stakeholders and the IT team,
Mm-hmm.
development. So
Wow.
he creates a use case diagram after once he receives the BRDs from the stakeholders. He
Mm-hmm.
creates
Wow.
a use case rough diagram
Mm-hmm.
where he explains the entire process of this work idea that he has in his own mind about
Mm-hmm.
how the project should begin, and
Mm-hmm.
how the work functionality should be of that particular requirement
Mm-hmm.
as per the stakeholders. So he explains that use case diagram to his IT team. He uses that use case diagram to explain his IT team about the functionality and the
Mm-hmm.
requirement of the stakeholders. And
Wow.
later on, he creates the SRS based on the SRS based on the BRDs.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, he moves on with the high level diagrams in which
Mm-hmm.
he creates the entire architecture of that particular
Mm-hmm.
uh, scenario, work
Mm-hmm.
task scenario. So
Mm-hmm.
the team has the idea about what exactly they have to work on and how the work will go on
Great.
in as mentioned in that architecture. And the BA is the person who will keep a track of that work that
Mm-hmm.
goes on as per the architecture designed.
Great, great, great.
He
I
creates
think
a
you
high
also,
level.
you also
Mhm.
ready to start working as a BA. You got the complete
Yeah.
idea, and only things we need to understand: the environmental nitty-gritties, the quality system, organizational structure, and those things. Now, yeah,
Those
yeah, yeah,
guardrails,
ready.
yeah, those
Thanks a
words.
lot.
Thank you.
This shows your practice. This shows your thought process clarity, and this shows how do you think as an BA, right? Yeah, Usha ma'am, do you want to go ahead, please? Or Rudra, do you want to? Okay, please go ahead, Usha ma'am.
Yes. So, according to me, business analyst is a person who analyzes and documents the business processes, and he is the first phase who will be interacting with the stakeholders to get the requirements which he is going to put it in the form of flow charts or put it in the Excel, do the documentations, that kind of stuff, which will help once he do that, he'll just forward it to the program manager, which will help in the overall development of the project. So you can say that he is the face of the company, face of that project. And he, once the project is in the development phase, he will keep the track of it, like, okay, now you are in which phase, yeah, now you are in which phase. So he is the very important part in the organization.
Wow, wow. Thanks a lot. This is superb. Means I can clearly see we understood the BA role. We understood, the fitment of the tools. We understood the overall evolution of the, role, daily activities. That's really great. Now we need to understand the environment. We need to understand how we could use the quality system, QA, QC, and the Scrum. Scrum is a kind of logistical meeting where we normally present as in BA in an advisory capacity after we release our documentation and the project, product, or service starts, right? Because that's our vision. That's the vision which built from discussion from clients on time to time. We build this SRS, we build this use case, we build this Excel sheet to present our data effectively to the development team from the business people. Perfect, great. You also ready to be a. Let's understand from Rudra. Rudra, could you please go ahead?
Yes. So I don't know how much I can add on to this, but
don't worry. See, we are here to learn, right? So we will build upon our thought process, and unless we start discussing this, we couldn't understand where are the gaps, right? You've seen the excellent explanation by Usha, Shital ma'am, Pauni ma'am, so that we were learning. So if there is any gap, please don't worry, and please don't say sorry. This what we are sharing are our thoughts, right? So please go ahead.
Yeah, amazing explanations, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Thanks. Go ahead, please.
So I guess a BA in my terms would be a facilitator between the IT team, stakeholders, and I guess the higher ups, whoever basically running the company, and they want to make sure that the stakeholders know what the customers need from them, and the BAs would analyze the trend and show it, present it in a way that gets them motivated about success in the company.
Right. And how does BA use the Excel sheet?
A BA would use the Excel sheet by showing the trends, right? Calculating, what we're not entirely sure how to say this. I think it's not really items.
What we did as an exercise in Excel, could you recall that? What we did on Excel?
Yeah, that was just how much money comes in and out, right?
Okay. That's the expense issue bill, right? So we can clearly measure what you can say return on investment, or how much you spend, earnings, and those kind of scenario, right? These are called return on investment in a business world, right? Your English is superb. I really appreciate that, the way you use word, the way you play around with the words. This is also a kind of need of BA, and that's really, I know the technicalities bit of things which we have to learn, but overall the way you express yourself, it's really great. Now I want to utilize those techniques to understand how do you put it, how a BA can use Excel. Could you please repeat that here again, please?
Okay. A BA would use Excel for presenting the company's projections and basically calculating a way to generate growth.
Right. The trend analysis you told earlier, right? Perfect. Now, could you please explain how use case fit into the whole, ball game of BA? Diagramming use case, please.
Sorry, say that again.
How the use case diagrams could be utilized by BA?
The use case could be
or why we learn use cases at all?
To make a clear plan to figure out like what needs to be done, so it is easily explained, I want to say, to the stakeholders, and so the customers don't feel like there's anything missing. And it's
Perfect. So
clear to see
the detailing of requirements, the words you might have to use. Please go ahead.
Yeah, that was yeah. So the detailing of the project and the specificities of the project that the customers want, or the not project. Yes.
The business idea to be developed.
This idea is to be.
Yeah, perfect. And that admits you some tipped up well. Only now we need to start using some technical terms, right? So let's have a look at these things, and then we'll move to the workshop. We are in almost final stages of our BA, part of the training capsule. And this is not the end. Whenever we finish QA/QC, Scrum, Agile, we'll have another workshop, including all. Whatever workshop we're going to start today will specifically cater to the need of the BA on a theoretical level, because practicality, the environment, and those things we are going to learn in the others training capsules as well. Those are not as big as BA, but yes, they are supporting, and that's how BA works in now day-to-day's life. So you're going to learn quality assurance, quality control, agility, the flexibility of the business, how we adapt to the flexibility of the requirement. Then you go to understand Scrum. Scrum is a framework, and this template which I shared with you, it's come from Scrum. So these templates, there are many more templates like these. Don't think it as a complication. Think it as a help to the BA role. Even the meeting, which normally BA goes to in advisory capacity to make sure whatever requirements you have been gathering and evolving into technicalities have to be not contradicted with, or not to be tempered with. So those requirements are implemented as in the product, project, or support, is what the BA role sees in the Scrum meeting. So Scrum meeting is a meeting, can be an online meeting like this, where the solution architects explain the technicality of the implementation of business ideas which you have devised, which you have evolved, which we have written down in SRS, right? Might be through use case diagram, might be through HLD, or all these tools we use to present this idea and get it clarified to a level where this technical team, which is within the Infosys, within the organization, me as an BA working, so those things I will just view or review in advisory capacity. Okay, let's try to understand BA role. Again, we'll sum up the BA role, and then we'll move to the workshop overall. Okay, so business analyst's primary objective is helping business cost effectively implement technology solution by precisely determining requirement of a project or a program or a support or a services, and communicating them clearly to the stakeholders. So we get these who are the stakeholders? The client, State Farm, is a stakeholder. Infosys as a company, as an organization, is a stakeholder. Okay, because Infosys is paying me to do my job, and my job is basically getting the requirement written in English, use case diagram, HLD, and the other templates which are provided to me within clear and crisp, non-proliferating way, so that I shouldn't miss any requirement as such, and convey this requirement to the technical team. Right, that's the whole gamut of BA's working. Now he should be able to create solution. These are kind of icing on the top. So if you able to help new solution, if you able to help new way of removing extra things which have to be used from a project or a product or something like that, so you are saving money for your company as an Infosys as well as from client. We talked about those two ID scanner, right? So these are like Philips or Sony. So Philips couldn't do all the things, Sony could do all the things, but cost thrice as well. So as an BA, I should decide where I should put Sony, where I should put Philips, because Philips, if I have 4-door, I'll put 3 Philips and 1 Sony. So this kind of what I can say, implementation tactics also really appreciated by business from a BA, right? So this is how overall the progress of the requirement goes to a technical implementation level via BA. That's the whole part of the game which BA is playing day in day out. right? So BA can be creative, can be really helpful in terms of building the business, building the new engagement, because as we say, it's a role critical, so that we talk to client, we go and understand the vision of a very senior dignitaries at client level and as within our organization as well, and all the help we can get leverage from the organization to build this solution effectively. So asking for help is not a challenge for BA. He can command to be supported. That's the whole thing. So you need to be really aggressive in terms of how do you think, how do you what do you want to know, what do you want to learn, and then learn those things. So this is a kind of internal trait BA should have. So please don't what I can say, please don't apologize, because whenever you asking, you are you have a right to get those help, those support, need to get build the business for you, build the business for the client as well as the company you are working for. Okay, so that's the overall understanding which we need to build on. And should do now, whenever you're understanding these new things, new technology, you need to get or retrieve help from your organization. So what we've seen, we will use something like center of excellence, we'll use something like subject matter experts, or we'll use somebody like domain experts. Okay, so these teams, these guys will help you to build better SRS, to build better use case diagram, to build better HLD. Okay, and we are going to use the templates supported by the company or the organization I'm working in. So this is how the whole BA works, right? Now let's try to understand how Google does it for us. So what does Google do? Let's try to understand. This was really good video on the YouTube showing the actual working of Google BA. It's available on YouTube. I've just grabbed it from the YouTube so that we can share these idea, and then we will take a couple of minutes to understand how the BA works day in day out. Google is the most highly paid company, and they have really great employee satisfaction type of scenario. So this is a kind of ideal job, and if you could get selected, you could be on cloud 9, believe me. So let's try to understand how BA works in a Google, right? This is Google campus.
My name is Rachel Polson, and I am a senior product analyst.
Hi, my name is Wei Yang. I'm a product analyst.
My name is Dan Blum. I'm a business analyst.
A business analyst analyzes data to find different insights that will drive a business impact.
And we analyze products and we drive decisions.
See, we are trying to understand how BA works, right? And if you got selected by BA, you might do 90% of these things. Okay, so the meeting where BA is participating, these are called Scrum meeting, as I told you. They can be labeled differently whenever you act through. You might, go to a client place and do those meetings. So there are such, instances they are sharing with us. So it's just, couple of minutes video. Just try to understand and we'll discuss it.
Around those products and figure out how to make a product better, what users like.
We really want to understand our users, and your main role is to make sure we have a really strong culture around data and using data to inform and drive our decisions.
We're all very passionate about data. We get very excited about looking at a new data source.
There are just a million questions that you have to ask before you launch and after you launch. What are we trying to make happen? How can we prove it quantitatively? And are we confident in that?
Right now, I'm in the YouTube data science team. We guide all of YouTube on things like product direction, through experimentation and analysis.
We want to make developers successful. So we look at what developers think success looks like and try to help them achieve that.
Being a product analyst at Google is unpredictable, but it's always exciting.
Google has a unique scale, which is very global, which you're not going to get anywhere else. So even if you make a small improvement, when you multiply that by a billion, that can definitely be worth your time.
To have a say in the direction that data science is going is something that really sets apart that experience at Google over other companies.
Google encourages you to, be open with your manager and have your manager support you in looking for something that is going to be fulfilling for you professionally and personally?
Google is set up as a company to allow people to take risks. In some cases, you're taking a chance at looking at that data when the business or the rest of the world thinks it's geeky or ridiculous. If we never try, we'll never know.
Okay, any questions for me? What do you feel? Do you feel thrilled? Do you think you can do this thing?
Yep.
Who said yes? Rudra, you said yes?
Yes.
So, okay. So how do you think, in a mota percentage, what do you think, how many, things, whatever shown in this video, we could do right now? Anything which you think you can't do as of today? Please, tell me.
There's nothing we can't do.
Wow, that's really great. Thanks, Rudra. Thanks a lot from bottom of my heart. But yes, we need to understand the, how the meetings are conducted. What is your role? How your advisory capacity works, in the meeting. How to get the approval things done. What do you mean by organizational hierarchy? Because those were kind of background actors in the video, right? Yeah. Anybody else want to explain? Or who feels like we haven't done something like this, or we haven't done whatever shown in the video. It was very short and crisp video, but they shared a vision what BA does. Yeah, Usha ma'am, please go ahead.
I have done one part of it, like taking the requirements. So yeah, I have done it. We used to go to the client side, and whatever the requirement manager is having, they used to tell us. Then we document it, and when we come back, and we share that document with our fellow workers. So till that part, I have done it. So that I think I can do that.
Great. And what are the other parts do you think you still going to learn, or want to do it, or
Yes.
or,
See, I used to take the requirement and giving it to my fellow workers, so they used to take care of everything. But now everything is in my shoes. I mean, problem solving, making the charts, Excel, so everything, all that thing, I myself have to do it. So now it's a full-fledged BA role.
perfect. Perfect. But you think you can do it, right? Because
Yes,
we learn
yes.
this.
See, if we can take this training and we can, we are in this training for 2 months, that means we can do it. Otherwise, we would have left the training in between.
Wow, that's such a critical way to put it. But yeah, thanks for, I really appreciate crisp and clear, response. Thanks for that. Thanks for that.
Thank
But
you.
now we need to, as I said, we need to understand the environment, right? So the environmental factor, like those factors which are behind the scenes, right? Throughout these videos. So we're going to learn that, and we're going to excel there as well. Anybody else want to comment on this, please? Please be brutal, because we are here to learn. And you can tell me, hey, you missed this item, and I'll even I don't know, I'll learn and I'll teach you. And that's how I work. So we are working here, we are growing together. And in some critical role as BA, we tend to find new tools, we tend to find new ways of doing it better. So we have to adapt. Sometime we need to learn, means you need to also learn. Might be a year down the line, you can teach me how the BA in current scenario works, and that's a possibility. I appreciate that. So that's why I say we are equal, right? We respect each other, but we are at equal level. So the age doesn't matter, the domain knowledge most of the time doesn't matter, because you learn, all the domains are new. Means if you see the overall advancement in technologies, you will be absolute in 2 years if you are not working. That's how the BA role or the criticality of a role is. So we are trying to be there, we are trying to reach there at the pace of the world, at the pace of the technology evolution, right? So that's the thing which we have to build by ourselves, and no technology or no training can help you there. It's a kind of 10 to 15% of the overall BA's job. So you're always learning new things. There'll be new challenges, new domains, new technology to learn, and we have to do it as in part of BA. Okay, so that's the overall thing. Anybody else have any questions?
So the thing I got most from the video was that they were catering to the customers. That's
right.
The bottom line. They were just trying to help the customer. and
Right.
explain it in a way
Okay.
to their bosses.
Right, that's a way of saying it, and it's a kind of what you can say. It's a marketing tactics when Google tells it like, you do everything for customer, but most of the time customer don't know how to do it. He just know I need a something like I need a better bicycle. That's what the customer knows. He don't know which company good. He don't know which type of bike I like according to his height, weight, and all those things. He don't know if the electric bike will work for him or he want to have a pedal bike, and those kind of scenario. So those things BA has to come up, suggest, and build those scenario for him with these all tools which we use. Does that make sense, Rudra?
100%.
Yeah, so this is what the BA's role is. Yeah, anybody else have any say in this, please?
Because you gave me such good knowledge. I think you were looking for the word contributors, right? Like all the things that contribute to the product.
Right. That's why I say you have really great way to specify in those words, and you'll be best BA because these words. Now you need to move from English linguistic words to technicality of the word, and you will excel, believe me, because the way you communicate, the way we should all be communicating with these words, the way basic as an American group explains themselves helps a lot, because we are going to club with them, we are going to work together. So this is the very correct alignment to the business. That's what I believe, Rudra, and I really appreciate your way of expressing yourself. So yeah, contributor is a perfect word to use here. So BA is a contributor to the business process. He understands the business process. He translates it to a level where development team start using it. Right? Everybody understood this?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to say something?
No, as me and Santosh, we have worked in healthcare marketing, so that kind of we have done meetings over there, like conducting meetings with doctors and sell our products to them, and to convince to write my products, and this kind of scenario also I can see here in
exactly. So that's what the domain expert is all about. So whenever there's a medical client coming in, you and Santosh will excel like anything. I'm talking about linguistic as far as Rudra goes. He knows the expression normally. Might be his schooling is in US, so he could explain it really well. For medical terminology, the way you explain that doctor data collection system, WBS and the HLD, that shows you have the domain. This is what the domain knowledge is all about. So we collect and learn from the domains we worked on. So you'll be really effective in medical domain or pharmaceutical domain for that matters.
Yes.
Pharmaceutical, healthcare, like
and diagnostic
pharmacy,
as well.
diagnostic, and the hospital.
Yeah, see, all these guys require BA, because whenever some hospital, like let's say Washington Hospital in St. Louis come to Infosys saying they want to build some new robotic line for doing corona checking automatically. So you two are the right person, because the verbose, the technicality, how that OCR gets clubbed together with the plotter and all those things. So these things, whatever we learned, we could leverage those things as an BA. That's the beauty of BA. And the technicality is the almost, I'll say, a kind of backbencher job or a last thing which comes. But yes, it's a need overall. So whatever you learn, you be a teacher, you be a healthcare professional, you be a you be interacting with various manufacturers and those kind of scenario that will add up to your overall experience, and that's what we are talking about. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Great. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's try to understand how the BAs work in day out, right? So understanding the requirement of a business, that's what we do. We analyze the information, we collect the information, we analyze it, and we communicate with a broad range of people. We talk to business owners, We talk to CIOs, CTOs, project owners of the world, and we talk to the technical people who's going to develop it, who's going to implement it. We document the findings. We evolve the requirement. We elicit the requirement, right? And we try to evaluate the requirements to the finest possible solution, the best return on investment type of solution, which my company where I'm working for is developing for the business. That's the whole essence of the BA's analysis job. The navigation responsible of reaching end destination, which is what the vision I'm carrying, I'm building, right? Which implies satisfying the resolution of a business problem. So resolving all the business problem shared to me is my overall caliber, is what my overall end game, what I'm looking for. This is another video. This is bit techie guy, and we'll try to understand how does it feel of about BA. We've seen about Google, right? Now let's try to understand from a techie guy. We have seen one of videos. He's a good BA. So let's
so
try.
You want to know what a day in the life?
Okay, let me stop share, start share. Okay, here you go. We've seen this guy, right?
Of a business analyst looks like. Well, I'm glad you asked. What is going on, guys? This is Faizan. Welcome to the channel. I am a business analyst myself, and I'm here to tell you guys what a day in the life of a PA looks like. So I've got my whiteboard behind me.
I'll also share a link with this video so that you could have a look at other videos whenever you have time. But this is the most interesting, the way he explained the BA. So let's try to understand from an actual BA who is working. We've seen that in Google, but that's the most glorified way. Now let's try to understand from a BA, a technical BA, right? Or try to understand from a mid-level company how the BA works. Let's try to understand.
If you guys do enjoy this video, please don't forget to make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to the channel as I do post a lot of content. So with that being said, let's get started. So let me start by saying this. No 2 days are going to be exactly the same, okay? And the biggest reason of how each day is really going to depend on where you are in a certain project. So if you're at the beginning, middle, or end, that will determine how your day is going to go. So when we talk about a day in the life of BA, we're talking about where in the project are you, okay? So let's say this. If you are in the beginning phase, so let's say a project has been assigned to you, okay? If that is the case, then my day would then consist of, and again, you can have multiple projects assigned to you. Probably 1 to 3, not more than 3. We're usually, and it's usually you're hovering more around 1 or 2 or even 1. But once you're assigned a project, let's assume you have 1 project. Let's assume that is where you're at. You get assigned the project, and now it depends, obviously, on the methodology. Is your project going to be agile? Is your project going to be waterfall? And again, if you don't know what what the difference between those 2 methodologies is, go ahead and look that up. We can also talk about it in a different video, but for the purposes of this one, it depends on the methodology. So if we do go with Agile, which is obviously more has to do with sprints and whatnot, that will trigger me to start at the beginning of the sprint. I'm working with my PM to do all of that stuff. But once I get the project assigned to me, the first thing I'm doing, irrespective of the methodology, is I'm going ahead and I'm setting up meetings or meeting for now with my stakeholders, okay? What are my stakeholders? Well, those are the business folks. So remember I told you that the IT, that the BA is the middleman between the IT and the business. So remember I told you that? And because the business and the IT can't talk in the same language, that is where the BA comes in. So I'm going to need to go to the business and get those requirements, okay? And if you guys want to know more about that, check out my other videos. And once I get those requirements, then I can go ahead and translate that and hand it off to the developers, the IT department. So I'm going ahead and I'm setting up these meetings. So this is what my day would consist of. I'm going to go ahead, okay, find out who are my business stakeholders on this project, what this project's about. After I found out all of the detail, then I'm going to go ahead and set up those meetings, okay? Once I've done that, now this is where the methodology is coming, Okay, because remember I told you, if we are doing Agile, we've got a sprint-based type of that we go in. And if we're doing waterfall, then it is more documentation, okay? Heavier on documentation. So depending on these methodologies, which one the projects could go into, and it could be a hybrid, it could be, then I'm usually going ahead, and again, let's say I do Agile, I'm going ahead and, talking with my PM, setting up, the sprint. We need to, obviously, I need to set up my meetings, my grooming sessions, my discovery session. She or he needs to do the planning. So going through the entire cycle. If it's just a waterfall project, then obviously after I've gathered the requirements, I can go ahead and start documenting the BRD. So like I said, all of these things come into play in a given day. Now you've got 8 hours in a day, so you're not going to be able to do everything. So that is why I say a day in the life of a BA is really going to heavily depend on where you are in the project. So elaborating on the where you are in the project is going to depend on what you do in a given day. Let me talk real quickly about the SDLC, which is the Software Development Lifecycle. That is what that stands for. And in the SDLC, we've got all of these steps, okay? It goes from planning to analysis to design, implement to test, and to maintain. So this is going to be where you're going to be in a project, okay? At any given time, you're going to be in one of these, okay? So if you're in one of these, depending on where you are, you're doing different things. The requirements gathering that I taught you guys about, more so in the analysis part right here, the design part, like it'll take place around there. And then if you are, after you've handed off the requirements and it's being implemented by the developers, then they would need your help if they need to clarify some requirements. So depending on where you are, that's what really is going to be part of your day. So again, for the BA, it's going to heavily depend on where they are in the cycle of a project. Okay, that's number one. And for number two, if you are not, talking about a project, then a lot of the other stuff could be administrative. You could be just, setting up a bunch of meetings. You could be, planning with your team, and et cetera. So a lot of this, a lot of what a BA does is really going to heavily be influenced by this, okay? And again, like I said, this is only for one project that we talked about. Now, imagine and extrapolate that to, let's say, like 3 projects, and 3 projects, spelled, where you are in different phases. So one project you're in planning, another project you're in design, another project you're in test. So think about that. You're going to have 3 separate meetings in 3 separate areas. You might have a grooming session here. You might have a planning session here. You might have a discovery session. So that is really going to influence it. So again, to recap, a day in the life of a BA is very different depending on where they are in a certain project. Okay, and they can have up to, 1, 2 to 3 projects. You really have dealt around 2. It depends on the size. But that is really it. So hopefully that helps give you guys a clear picture of a day in the life of a BA. So myself, real quickly, just talking about my own experiences, I'll get into the office around 9. I'll check my emails. After I check my emails and I respond to all of them, I'll go ahead and make sure I have my calendar with all the meetings I have for the day. I know what time my meetings are. And obviously, outside of just attending the meetings, I'm using the rest of the time to go ahead and work on wherever I'm in the project. So if I'm in the requirements gathering part, I'm going ahead and I'm taking down my notes of what questions I'm going to ask the stakeholders. Or if I'm writing the requirements, I'm going to go ahead and write my requirements, whether that's BRD or whether that's through user stories, okay? And so that is really going to be my entire day. Obviously, you'll have your lunch, whatnot, but that is really going to take up my entire day. And then I'll usually get out of the office around 5. So that really is a day in the life of a BA. So hopefully that gives you a better picture. Hopefully that helps. Let me know if it does. Leave a comment down below. If you guys have any questions, as always, thanks for watching.
Yes. So do you have any questions?
No. That was well said.
You can understand, no problem. But now, we were trying to basically, go into a depth, right? If you could give us, let's say now I want to start discussing on something like workshop, which we talked about, right? So we want to understand how we're going to execute this workshop and how we're going to present to within our group. That's what the thing. So this is what we'll start. So let me tell you how I thought on this. So I'll give you a problem. You try to build some some of the things like use case diagram, HLD, SRS, and Excel sheet, whatever you feel supports your case to present the requirement, right? That's how the whole BA analyst workshop will look like right now. We'll discuss it today. We'll take question and answer, and in our next session, that's 20 seconds, we'll discuss this one by one. Each will have around 30 minutes to describe his business analyst's document, which you want to present in terms of how we are going to build this thing. And I could understand at this moment we are not going to use much of technology as of now, but whenever we revisit this, whenever we do it again after at the end of this training session, we'll build this again, so that we know what are the things as an environmental factors, like the Scrum, the QA, how quality assurance is going to get implemented in the SRS, how quality control is going to get implemented in the SRS, and those things as well. So this will be a kind of initial makeup, or this will be a kind of initial documentation or initial thought process of a BA, which I'm looking for in this workshop, right? So let's try to discuss one by one. Before that, anybody have any questions on this video we just seen? Anybody have any questions for me at this moment?
Are we going to be primarily dealing with State Farm?
Sorry, come again, please. Could you please speak louder?
Sorry, are we primarily going to be dealing with State Farm?
No. Okay. No, it's not. These are all suggestive. See, we should we should have a practical approach, right? So for that, these are the names which I am using internally to make the life more easier. If you want to use any other name, please be my guest and present it. That way also the way I am looking at it, basically trying to work as an BA, try to explain his duties and role, so that we could we could build more nearer practical documents, diagrams, and those things. That's why I use these names. And while discussing, while presenting, you might need these names to spoken to, discussed to, and so on and so forth. So that's why I use this name. But be my guest, use your nomenclature, use your client name, use your correspondence name. That's okay with me as well. Right? Does that answer your question, Rudra?
Yep.
Okay, great. No problem. So I'll just try to explain the scenario which I thought of. Again, you can change these things. BA, please use your name. You're working at a good matured IT company called Infosys. With a sales manager, Ravindra Pandey, we go into a client to analyze new software development lead. Okay, so somebody from State Farm, whatever I have considered here, called Ravindra Pandey saying, hey, we want to build some enhancement in our attendance management system. So could you please come down on, let's say, Monday, let's meet at 2 p.m. at my office in Havana, Champagne, let's say, for that matter. So, me with BA, we, go to their office and, we sit in conference room, discuss, quite a few things with a VP HR with State Farm called Keshav. I should give a name also, right? Okay, but let's understand. So Mr. Keshav, he with, product owner to be called Kalpana. So these two guys discussed actual vision or the business problem in their attendance management system, and what are the enhancement they are thinking. So they share a kind of printout with me with some bulleted points, saying, okay, these 6-7 things we believe is a kind of need of us in improving the system, but they are not sure, because that's a business. They do business, right? They are into business of insurance, so they don't know attendance management system that well and how to enhance them to reach all his corners and nooks and all those things. So that's how. So as a BA, we create minutes of meeting. I'll share a template of minutes of meeting also, just in case, if you never came across such thing. And, you can use that. Otherwise, you can use a simple word and try to, put down whatever points you discussed. But it's best to use a, template. So I'll share that template with you. And then create, SRS. The way we've discussed, you have the template. I'll share again if you want. And we can fill in the blanks there. We can build use case diagram for HR manager, employee, or other users, whatever you feel critical. So whatever the system functionality have been suggested or needs to be included can be implemented in this, can be discussed in this SRS, and you could present it whenever we have this presentation session via PPT. That's the overall expectation, right? Yeah, it's going to take a couple of us. The way I'm looking at least 3 hours, right? Because there's lots of thinking involved here. There are lots of understanding how business talks to a BA, how BA implements in a document or writes in a document, explain it to a development team. So the whole pipe of the BA. And through this exercise, we are trying to understand what are the challenges do we feel as an BA. So why do we need QA? Why do we need QC? Why do we need, agility, Scrum, and all those, the environmental factors, and how they support us? And then we're going to move to those topics, right? So that's the whole, what you can say, gist of the, this workshop. Any questions at this moment for me? Okay. Okay, great. Now, these are something called roles, because these guys really contribute to a typical BA extensively. This product sponsor, what we call, this is a guy or a product owner. This person is basically lead the overall vision, right? Because he have conceptualized the idea, he given the angles or the descriptive measures to this, and he leads as a product owner. If you want to ask the specific name which we'll use during the agile time, and even the agile training expert will explain you how the product owner helps to resolve all the conflicts regarding the let's say Sony and Philips iris scanner. So he's the last person to sign off a requirement, or the last person to sign off the budget, frankly speaking, if not the CEO, CTO. So normally product owner is the person who owns the product. That's how the overall thought process is, and we're going to see that. So sponsorer, product owner, facilitator. This might not be the product owner, because mostly product owner are not can't be there day in day out. So there will be somebody called facilitator, who is a kind of agent to the sponsorer or product owner, who basically present in each of every meeting. Mostly it's called daily Scrum meeting. So we can discuss with this person, and if he or she couldn't clarify to nth level, he will go to sponsor or product owner and pull him to this meeting. So you can think as an assistant to the product owner or assistant to sponsorer, and he supports all the he resolves all the conflicts on a ground level. He prioritizes the requirement day in day out. If you have any confusion, or if we have any confusion, he or she can facilitate in terms of business ideas, business visions in depth, if the sponsor is not around, right? And BA or a scribe or an author who records these decisions, who build the format which have already decided, and keep track of any additions, subtraction, multiplication, and all those things in the requirement. So BA is a kind of person who keeps track of the additions in the requirement, the clarifications in the requirement, the tools or the techniques which development team should use, might use, and those scenario, right? And then timekeeper is basically kind of Scrum master, how we name it. This guy is basically keeps track of meetings, arrange the logistic for the meeting, like how which voice conference tool, Zoom, Google Meet, or whatever you want to use. He'll arrange from the organization where you worked in. He'll make sure up. You'll have the cloud space required for your documentation, your network availability, and all the other logistical things. Timekeeper is mostly, as I told you, Scrum Master who works with a BA day in, day out within your company. The upper two are basically from client side. The lower two are basically works with Infosys. So State Farm and Infosys, as we discussed. Please be my guest. Use your company name, whatever you like, and whatever you know, so that you can explain your vision clear and crisp. Okay, so these are just guidelines of a workshop which you're talking about. Any confusion at this moment?
No.
Okay.
Can you explain?
We can go ahead, right? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, can you explain the facilitator once again?
Sure. Facilitator is an agent or a coordinator with the product owner, because product owners are normally CEOs, CTOs, CMDs, and those guys of the world, because they get this idea, right? कि यार ये बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है अटेंडेंस का, बहुत पब्लिक ना किसी और का ये लगा के अटेंडेंस कर देता है, किसी का साइन मार के वगैरह. These are the normal problem, right? So how to stop such leakages? How to stop such what you can say tweak use of current validation processes? So how do you do that? So you improve the system. So how do you improve the system? You build some technical help, you take some technical help, you implement certain measures so that these leakages will not happen, right? So for that scenario, what the product owner or the visionary or the CEOs or MDs of the world, what they think, let's try to have some biometric scanners. Let's try to have some iris scanners. Biometric scanner, people can do with that sticky tape and try to get it around and all. So iris scanner, at least till now you couldn't have somebody's eye pulled out just to make that attendance real, right? So they haven't seen anything like that in a practical scenario. So the sponsorer or the MDs or the CEOs of the world thinks, let's try to use iris scanner, right? And then we've seen the how the iris scanner has to be implemented, and those things which BA will suggest as a solution, and then technical team will implement it. That's the whole what you can say progress of the BA's activity we've thought of. And that's how the products sponsorer or product owner normally stays in the back of the stage, and facilitator, who is a kind of agent or a PA or assistant of a product sponsorer or a product owner, attends daily meeting, daily scrum meetings or daily discussions, so that whenever you have a confusions, whenever you have a contradiction with the vision, or you want to take a decision on base with the help of product sponsorship or the revenue based decision, so you can ask facilitator to get approval of sponsorer or owner whenever there's a need, right? So it normally have goals and agenda of the sponsorer, imposes the structure, ground rule, activity focused on the purpose and desired outcomes. Like he'll have the clear say in terms of how many Philips, how many Sony, and those kind of scenario as well. He supports the decision which are basically trying to raise a conflict afterwards. Can be technology conflicts, can be using third-party components type of conflicts, but he's a person who normally supports the progress day in, day out. Does that help? Does this answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Any other questions at this moment? Now I try to I'll share this with you. Basically, I try to build my vision. I try to create me as an BA, and have a couple of these screens. You might or you might not use this in your presentation or in your what you can say outcome. But yeah, this is just to support you better. So what I'm looking at, a kind of touchless attendance system. This is what a kind of BRD given by the product owner or the Keshav of the world, right? So I'll say BRD, let's say. So these how many 9 points is given by the Keshav whenever we are meeting them. So they want something like touchless. Okay, they want to have something like touchless attendance. Again, I'll repeat again. This is the BRD which I have got as in minutes of meeting when we meet, means when we gone to State Farm and try to jot down the requirements. So these are the basic business requirement given by the state firm. Just to make Santosh and Revati Singh, Santosh, we have tried to explain how the business analyst workshop will work. So I've given these nomenclature or name so that you can use it. If you want, you can use your own company name, client name, and so on and so forth, and try to build the use case diagram, SRS, HLD, an Excel sheet if you feel the need for it, and present it in a next session. So next session will be on 22nd, and we'll discuss this. Each and every of you will get 20 to 30 minutes, and we'll try to understand the different documents you worked on, and we'll try to make it better, make it more aligned to the actual BA's working, right? That's the whole agenda. Then we talked about these 4 roles: sponsor or a product owner. He's a person who normally pays the bills. Facilitator is an agent or a PA of a sponsor who normally, with us, as in with BA and, Infosys team, to guide you on day-to-day activities. BA and scribe or author, that's me. That's, me who is writing the use case diagrams and so on and so forth. Timekeeper is something like Scrum Master who provide logistic to a BA within Infosys, within the organization I'm working for, right? And then how the workshop will work. You will describe the aim and desired outcomes, identify the key stakeholders whom would participate, identify the facilitator and make the notes, develop the agenda, decide how the outputs will be recorded, plan the session, invite the participants. This is for the repetitive outcomes, or if you have any confusion, we can request a meeting, or those kind of scenarios what we are discussing in. Send the agenda and other materials for planning the meeting. And then a pre-workshop interview, brainstorming techniques and all those things you could put it in, right? So that's the whole thought process. This is what BRD I have built in. This can help you if you want to utilize it. Otherwise, be my guest and you can use your own thought process. So this is not a necessity, but yes, I have thought on that. If you use this, well and good, no problem. So what the Keshav of the world told me, we want to have a touchless attendance system. Away from sign-in, sign-out process, it should be automatic. It should be 24/7 availability across the times. Cell phone, mobile enablement, so that every time I don't have to really check out the approval by logging into my computer or laptop or something like that. So the monthly reporting in Excel or CVS or email also. Last management efforts or resource. So we need to use whatever historical systems we have, legacy system. Legacy systems in place. Sorry. So we can't ignore whatever we had, because those systems have the records of previous leave takens and previous what not historical data we need, right? So those things. So we need to have the leave management also, and approval with the report, reporting rank, and new employee registration by HR. This is what the 9 agenda items I want to include in my new attendance system enhancement, right? Then I'll move to the next one. Now a functionality at a glance. So, and we want to process attendance records and generate reports as the normal attendance system does. Employee attendance records, and employee for employee attendance, student attendance. Okay, this is something haywire, I believe. Yeah, this doesn't feel right. So there's no student or the guest attendance. So guest attendance record, holiday records, leave records, login records, and authentication records, and generate a report of authentication. These type of recording and inputs we need from the system. I try to create a bit of HLD here. So we need to have attendance management, employee attendance management. Again, there are lots of repetition as well. So holiday management, login management, because of the new registration. Then generate a report, attendance report, employee attendance report, visitor attendance report, holiday report, login reports, and leave reports. So these kind of reports which are expected out of these systems. That's the normal thought process. Yeah, and then we'll discuss this after we present. So we need to basically understand how the scope creep will happen. Okay, this should be here. So we need to understand the use case diagram, at least 2 major functions. This is a need, right? So you need to do this, you must do this. And HLD, cover the complete system as far as possible. SRS document, the solution conceptualization. I'll share the template again. CUNCEPT PUA, I believe, right? Yeah, conceptualize. No, again I'm missing. Okay, I'm struggling with my English, I believe. Okay, fill in the templates and include diagrams. Need to build presentation to showcase the solution. You'll get 20 to 30 minutes, including questions, and we'll present on 22nd November. Any questions at this moment for me?
So next session we have to do all these things. We
Yes, that's right.
like this. So you were talking about attendance management system. What we need to do with that? We HLD.
Yes, you need to build use case diagram, at least 2. You need to have HLD of the complex system and the SRS template, which I'm going to share. So I'm going to share SRS template again.
So we need to make HLD on attend management system or any other topic. How it is?
Whatever you want to present. See, I want to understand your way of how business analysts work. So you could take any problem. This is the guidelines I have given to you. So you could use this and you could build it better, and we can discuss because we know the background now. That's how I put it, right?
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
I'll share these slides with you, SRS templates with you. What else do you need from me?
I have a question.
Please go ahead.
What is the meaning when you say like use case diagram, at least 2 major functionality? What is this 2 major functionality?
Use case, come again, I couldn't hear you.
I mean, you said in the bracket, like at least 2 major functionality, right?
Right.
So what is that?
Okay, use case normally we build on functionalities, right? Those, circular boxes, those are functionalities. Okay, let me go back to the use case diagram. Give me a minute, please. Where am I? Come. These are activity. Yeah. So these are search for items, place order. These are the functionality, right? So whatever customer does, these are the functionalities. So at least have 2 to 3 functionalities in the use case diagram, because you can't just have a customer search items and that's all. We need to have certain interactive understanding of the system. That's why I said at least 2 functionalities. So at least 2 or 3 of these oval items which I'm talking about. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for me at this moment? So I believe you understood the challenge, right? I know there's a lot to thought of, lot to understand in terms of how we can do it the best possible way. But if you have any questions, any doubts, I'm waiting for your questions or waiting for your understanding, and then we can.
Question, sir.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. What about SRS documents and solution? Like what we need to do with that exactly? I don't understand. Can you please explain?
Yeah, we've seen the SRS document, right? I'll open that SRS document template again with you. I'm going to share it with you as well. So let me call that. Is it a backup? I don't know. Yes, school handle design HLD. Okay, give me a minute. Yes, I'm opening. I'm sharing that with you so that we can go through it again. So then I'm sharing Word. Where's the Word? Yes. We have seen this, right? SRS. So this is the template which we use normally. So there are guidance, like how the templates will be used, how the what you mean by system requirement summary. So it provides. Could you read this? provide all overall summary or the contents of these documents, and should include the criteria by which the system requirements were established and how they were validated. So what will I write here? We, with my project manager, go to State Farm, meet Keshav and Kalpana, try to understand their business challenges in attendance management system. And they've given those 6 or 7 requirement, and then we need to build solution for these requirement. So I'll put point number 1, build biometrics, or what's a contactless attendance system. So what are the options I have? I have options like biometric, I have options like iris scanners, I have options like full body scanners or the infrared scanners and all those things. So you could write a number of things here, but try to answer in at least 1 or 2 sentences, so that me as a business owner can understand whatever you thought of that business problem. That's the whole ball game, right? And then I'll go to chapter 2 here, the business requirements. What I'll do here, okay, don't go by these type of diagrams. I'll delete this from here before sharing with you. You can use any of the tool set, but what I would like to have as a use case diagram. Okay, I'll delete this right now basically. Okay, so how business requirements works. Provide a business requirement as approved, as we discussed, right? We discussed with Keshav and Kalpana. That's basically justified and validated requirement. So we build our solution around that, right? So we might include a HLD here, saying this is what actually needs to be built. So I have those 6 to 7 requirement in one box. I'll have another solution, 6 to 7 or 9 to 8 solutions in my right side box, and I'll try to justify those solutions with the supporting system, right? The HLD which we drawn earlier in the presentation, you can draw something like that, or you can include that thing if you worked on the same scenario or same problem. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, you answered my question, but the HLD and use case and Excel sheet we have done as homework, so we got very much idea about that kind part, but SRS we didn't do before, so it will take time. You just share, I will read and I will try to understand and we'll make it.
Yeah, see, I'm not saying you need to do end to end. You need to at least put some thoughts, write some couple of sentences, if not couple of paragraphs. That's what it's expected.
Okay.
And
yeah, sure.
see, I want to give you a feel of a BA, and then understand the challenges which you are facing, and then we'll learn the other tools or other environmental system which we talked about, the QA, QC, Agile, and those things. Why we keep there, so that you can understand the value of those requirements. Okay, so that's why. And then system and service dependencies. So these pretty much talked about the existing system, the legacy system, how my system will club with the existing system. We talked about something like SAP, right? SAP, and how it's club. We talked about cloud service deployment, how it works, how we can get engaged in those scenarios. Interportability requirement, these are basically again the same thing. This talks predominantly how do you deploy it, how do you implement it, how do you share these systems with State Farm from Infosys. So those kind of scenario. And technology impact assessment, I think if you can try a couple of jotting down a couple of lines, otherwise we can discuss it after all. And I believe you don't need you don't know right now as far as versioning and life cycle impact. So leave the 6th chapter blank, and we'll take it up from there. Please don't worry. Whatever you can't do, don't think this as an what you can say. You need to feel all kind of scenario. Okay, so we are there, we are learning, right? So quite a few things which try to fill it in. You don't know, will fill it afterwards. Okay, but this is the template as an BA we are going to use at the end of the day. That is the fact, right? And so let's try to do that. That's the whole what you can say aim of this exercise. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect, thanks a lot, no problem. So I'll stop share. I'll go to presentation again. Where's my presentation? Come on. Okay. So this thing. So I'll okay. So SRS template I'm going to share. This presentation slides I'm going to share with you. Yeah, to build HLD and use case diagram. That's right. Why do I put these things here? What do you need from me else? Means I'll share SRS template. I'll share this presentation side. Yeah, please go ahead. Do you think you'll need anything else from my side to support this?
You're talking with me?
Talking with everybody.
Everyone. Okay. Yeah, we are good. We are good, sir.
You're good, right? Okay,
Yeah.
sure. So let me share these things with you within next 20-30 minutes, and you'll start working on that. We are leaving early just to make sure that you have enough time, because if you start right now, it'll be fresh in your mind, and just try to spend 20 odd minutes right now because we have time. And that's why we are leaving early, so that you can try to start building on these things, right? And then we'll take it up from there. So next class will be review and trying to understand how BA works, how me as an BA is going to work in Infosys for State Farm, or whatever clients or names you want to use. Okay, is there any confusion about this?
No.
Anybody happy we are leaving early? Nobody?
I'm happy.
Okay, good. Even I am happy too. Just to I know it's a lot to think. I know it's a lot to what you can say build on. And this is how the overall we were trying to fit into the shoes of BA, right? So it's a new thing for you as well. So I want to give enough space, enough time. So even if we can't do it into next session, we'll keep doing it. But we'll start on the other what you can say other trainings in the next session, so that we can start going ahead, and we'll start building up on our knowledges. That's the main intention. So this is not the end of the world, but I want you to try from your best thought process, so that we can share if there are any shortcomings as of now, right? The earlier we understand our shortcomings, the earlier we understand our blockages, we can clear them well in advance, so that you will not have any problem on job. We are there to support you. We are there to support on interview as well. But the earlier you get, my job is to basically make you enable with all the arms and animation for a BA. And that's what I'm trying to do. But unless you put in your effort, I can't make sure you don't know what are the additional things which I need to tell you and those scenarios, right? So unless you put in efforts, we couldn't work together. So we need to work together, and that's why the whole exercise is all about, right? So please put in some efforts, and let's get this thing. It's not difficult, believe me. It's not difficult. It's not really time consuming also, but yes, you need to put in your heart and brains. You need to spend some hours altogether. That's I'm very sure of that. Okay, are we ready?
Sure.
Yes, we are ready.
Sure, great. So let me share this thing within next couple of minutes, and you can start working on that.
Okay.
Thanks. And if you have any questions, please feel free to WhatsApp me. We can have a WhatsApp call also if you feel the need for it, and we can get it done. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for you. Let's meet again on 22nd evening, right? Good night. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.
Morning. Good night.